Hello everyone and welcome to another randomized gaming stream, and of course I'm your host for this stream as always, Random Gamer Ribbon. So in today's stream we are going to be looking at King of Fighters Dream Match 1999, which was a slightly odd rename of the King of Fighters 1998. It was originally called Slugfest, and I think it's Dream Match is Slugfest in the West, King of Fighters 98 Slugfest 98 in the West, and King of Fighters 98 Dream Match in Japan. And they later reused the name Dream Match, as effectively it means a King of Fighters where all the various characters meet up, including those that are officially killed as part of the canonic storyline. I'll just say hello to some of the guys on the stream. So hello to Hassan Travell, thanks for joining the stream. Hello to Terry Wogan. Hello to Lucas Raphael. Hello, and hello to Nykodanar again, as always. Great to see you guys back. Right, let's jump into this. So I know we do. So this is not a fight night, it's just me having a look at one of the fighting games. I'll be doing a few matches, lovely 240p action. So yes, this one does actually support Neo Geo Pocket Link Up, and I have actually linked it up with the Neo Geo Pocket in the past. So just drop that as that. Well, there is actually a slight gap. Just bear with me, guys, a second. Properties. No, I want trans. Where is it? I'm just going to bring that down a touch. I think it's properties, isn't it? No, it's in. And hello, Mizuki. As well, we've got quite a lot of people. That's. Yeah. Okay, are we back? Are we back? Okay, yes, we are back. Apologies about that. OBS decided to crash horribly. So one of the things is you can actually change. We've got the English, the Japanese, we've got playtime, stage selector on, we've got button config, we've got X, A, Y, B, okay. And yes, as I said, this does, before it all decided to go horribly wrong, save the data, although I will be deleting it with the end of this stream. But yes, this does support Neo Geo Pocket Link Up. I don't think it's going to work because I don't have the Neo Geo Pocket here. I'll just show you what it does. Yeah, so upload, download. So I do actually have this links with Neo Geo King of Fighters R2 on the Neo Geo Pocket, and I have successfully linked it as I do have a Japanese version of R2. So upload, download, and exit. And let's get into some core King of Fighters gameplay. So survival, single player. Let's do a bit of practice just to begin with.
The King of Fighters.
Yes, the stream has restored. Yeah, it was a technical issue. OBS crashed on me, so I'll show you the extra system, which is the new one. So this is the Dreamcast version. As it's the home version, there are Cool Toon and Cool Jam. One of the other King of Fighters games, I think 99 Evolution links it. So we actually have Cool Toon and Cool Jam, and we actually have King of Fighters 90. No, I think 99 Dreamcast Evolution and 99 Dream Match. It may be the Japanese versions, but yeah, we do actually have a Neo Geo Pocket link cable, so I should show that off at some point. So this is practice mode. So you do actually get normal versions of some of the original characters, like earlier versions. So Kaio, if you press start, you get classic Kaio. Notice the picture changes there. Terry has a classic version. Andy has a classic version. Joe has a classic version. Ryo has a classic version. Robert Garcia, the classic versions from Art of Fighting. Yuri has a classic version. Mai's one is from Fatal Fury 2. Billy has a classic version as well from Fatal Fury 2, I think, or one of the Fatal Furies in those three. Classic. And you can play as the boss versions of the Orchi team. So we have Yashiro there, we'll go evil. Shimi in an Orchi form, and Chris in the Orchi one. Although technically you don't get Chris's true Orchi form. However, the real Orchi is actually Yamazaki. If you pay attention to the storyline, Yamazaki is actually Orchi, but can't be bothered to release his powers, basically, because he'd basically destroy everyone in a single match. And yeah, you get a Mega Regul here, just to show you him off. So, Omega Regul is not playable in the arcade version or the original Neo Geo. The arcade version, I think he's playable in the AES version. So let's just show him off, seeing as he's the boss. Let's do a bonus boss, and let's do classic Billy. And we get the background. So the big change here, aside from a few extra modes, is the fact that you have 3D backgrounds in this. Hey. Or I should press X for the default. Go! So you'll see we actually have 3D backgrounds. Just to practice a little bit as Omega Regul. We'll do a little. He's got a selection of moves. Yeah, it's quite a nice selection. They basically, you get the backgrounds of added 3D dimensional. I know some purists say the 2D looks slightly better. The sprite artwork doesn't look quite as detailed for the foreground characters are fine, but the background characters starts moving. Yeah, initially if you don't, it looks 2D initially, and then when you start moving, you realise it's actually in 3D, which is quite cool. Go from supers. I should warn you, there will be some flashing in this game, so if you have photosynthesis or anything. So, Regul technically dies in King of Fighters 1995, so... And this in turn got an updated release. There was one done by Playmore called King of Fighters 1998. The Ultimate Dream Match, which adds in a number of the missing characters from this and adds in some other additions. So I'm just getting a bit of practice in here. Oh, that's right, you can charge the fireball to hold it down. Just do a quick throw. You can also do his fireball in the air for a diagonal throw. Alright, let's give the... Let's have a bit of practice. Let's give a bit of the survival mode a go. See how far I can get. I'll be cheeky in players. As a Mega Regul. Yeah, they did it. They did it in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. The backgrounds in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 were a bit odd. They didn't suit the game that well. But in this, they do it, because what they've actually done is they've taken the 2D backgrounds from King of Fighters 98 and they've given them a 3D edge now. It's almost like you say they've added in a perspective to the original 2D drawings. So initially at first, and this actually has an absolutely block-rocking soundtrack as you'd expect for the King of Fighters games. I'm a little bit rusty, but I'll see how far I can get. I'll try and do an arcade. I probably will do an arcade, but it just depends how many credits I'm going to use. Although Ragul is quite merciless in this one. But yeah, some great cool artwork. Yeah, I actually think I'm tempted to say Marvel vs. Capcom 2 may have stolen the idea from this one, but then I suppose they'd already done 3D games, so a 2D sort of 3D thing was something that was always going to happen, so. I should have picked the... Is it the advanced? Yeah, I should have gone for advanced. EX is the sort of classic system. And hello to Shinobi Wan as well. Yeah, they've done it quite well. The only slight downside is the characters look a little bit more in the background, don't look quite as sharp as they do in the original 2D artwork. But there's literally the same background stages, so. Ooh, Yashiro's giving me a bit of a butt kicking. Yeah, I think the Capcom... I think partly the reason they did it was because they were using Nomi hardware. I'm going to lose this fight. Oh, I see. Oh, survival has a continue mode in this. Let's pick a different character. Let's do advanced. And let's pick my favourite, Joe Hishigari. Yeah, Capcom vs SNK is a bit weird because I think Capcom vs SNK, Marvel vs Capcom 2 is a bit weird because I think they literally took the CPS2 sprites and yeah, I play as Joe a lot more than I do Ragul. But yeah, I think the problem with Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was that they basically took sprites from CPS2 and dumped them straight into Thingy, and there was a sort of resolution mismatch, which is why the sprites look a bit weird. Should actually dig out the manual and get the moves. This is the Japanese version, by the way. It's pretty much all in English because there was the English option. But a lot of these arcade games, you can get the Japanese version. You don't really need to understand much. But yeah, Now, it's weird. The first two King of Fighters on Dreamcast were the last two ones basically released by SNK before Playmore took over. And once Playmore took over, things really did change, sadly. The quality of the King of Fighters dropped hugely. So, King of Fighters 2000 was half finished by SNK when they went belly up. And so, Playmore finished it. But... And even if they aren't in English, there's so little text that you don't need to worry about it.
Are you ready? Lady, go!
I think when they came to do Capcom vs SNK 2 over Marvel vs Capcom 2, they'd sorted out the 3D, 2D background issues, so... So yeah, Joe Hishigashi's a really well-rounded character. And this is blue. The music's actually Blue Mary Blues. The Dreamcast version has a couple of quirks. Apparently, they've taken voice samples from various games rather than use some of the '98 original audio, which implies maybe they didn't like some of the '98. Largely, it's not quite a straight port because it is a rebuilt version of the game. So, there's me getting into some. You can tell I use Joe Hishigashi quite a bit more than, say, the boss Ragul, despite the fact in theory I should be better with Ragul because he's a better character. What's interesting, if you pay attention to the King of Fighters, you can see when they start updating the character graphics in each game, and how sometimes they'd update some frames of the characters, then they'd update the remaining frames in like the next game. So there are a couple of things if you pay attention. The big jump came between 95 to 96, where they did a lot of character changes. Then they changed even more, I think, was it 99? The true 99. Remember, although this is called 99 Dream Match, this is actually 1998. I think the reason for the name change was purely because this was released on Dreamcast in 99, and I think... I can't say I've seen any of the animated movies sort of related to any of the... I generally have... Gotta be careful. Yeah, no, I can't say Shinobi 1. I've actually seen any of the animated movies. Yeah, it must be. Actually, this was the ironically, despite the fact this is widely regarded as the best King of Fighters, this was the last one I actually got on Dreamcast. So I actually had a hell of a time trying to get hold of this one. Oh, he's got me. Survival's quite merciless, actually.
I love you. Continue.
You're having a conversation in your head? Okay. Let's swap character again. Who should I be? Someone who I know the moves for. Really wish you could play as Orochi Ori, but you can't do in this one. I think you can in Ultimate.
Iori vs Kyo.
炎がお前を呼んでるぜ。なあ燃え尽きろ。潔くな。
Lady, go!
Yeah, I've never seen any. I've never seen any of the fan media or sort of supplementary media related to any of the games. Largely because I'm a bit of a film buff, so I know it's just not going to be great stuff. I know it's sort of fan fodder, which stuff to me would probably. Appreciate all the likes, everyone. Thank you. Okay. Oh, don't play as Iori as much as I should do. I have to admit. Come on, get in there. But the music is just... If there's nothing else to listen to tonight, it's just the absolute fantastic music in this.
Lady, go!
I think the one complaint I saw about this one was that the music resets after every round. Oh. Okay, I'll just pick, for this survival mode, I'll just pick characters I'm semi-good at. That wasn't the best performance as a Yuri. I should have done better, actually. Let's do Andy. Although Andy always does a couple of weird moves. Yeah, the music is very good, but I know a few people complained that the sound samples, they'd taken them from various games. It might be a case that you're right there, they literally just, rather than convert them, lifted them from other games. The one that always annoys me is Andy's rising kick is always done with like a punch rather than rather than a kick. Despite the fact it's a kick move, it always irritates. The problem with King of Fighters is the initial games in the franchise, the AI is the cheapest thing you will ever fight. When you start getting to 98, the AI gets much better, it's much more winnable. But they do still cheat on the boss AI, so it's not just you, you will struggle. I mean, I'm a sort of fighting veteran, I mean, I'm a bit rusty here, I should be doing slightly better, but if some of the King of Fighters have absolutely nightmarish bosses, I will be honest. So let's nip back to Joe for this one. Hi Hassan Terrell, thanks for joining back. We had a slight disconnect there earlier.
Joe versus Joe.
Appreciate all. Yeah, the AI cheats like crazy. There are a couple of King of Fighters games where the AI is just virtually impossible to beat without using cheap tactics. Although I will admit, I never actually played 98 that much on the Dreamcast version, so... Yeah, it's doing a lot of blocking, as you can see there. In fact, it's doing an awful lot of blocking. Yeah, exactly, Nico. You learn how to beat the AI. It's not a case of learning how to fight well against the AI. Against players, you have to learn how to fight. Against the AI, it's how to beat the AI and exploit it. I think my personal favourite is 1996, but I do like 97 as well. Although I really like 99 Evolution, so the actual 99 on Dreamcast. For me, I think 99 was the best King of Fighters of them all before the series went into... Okay, let's try this again. For me, I think the series peaked at 99. 2000 was good because it was still partly done by SNK, but 2001 is the worst game in the franchise by a country mile. So I actually got 2000, 2001 and 2002 before I got 99 Evolution and then 98, or 99 Dream Match as it's called on Dreamcast. But yeah, the AI is very, very cheap, so you have to cease to exist. Yeah, 2000 was the last one SNK worked on. That was partly done by SNK before it was. They had to basically went bust mid-run. I mean, technically, the guy who created SNK folded the company because and then immediately formed Playmore, but they lost so many of the staff. Ironically, most of the staff were working on Capcom vs SNK, and so actually defected to Capcom. What's so abysmal in 2001? Everything. The new characters are badly drawn because it was done by a studio that basically hadn't done a fighting game before. So the gameplay is terrible. The bosses. It was an absolutely woeful end to the Nesta storyline because basically it was unfinished. I'm getting my arses thumped at the minute. Okay, let's try Regal. It's actually quite hard, the survival mode. I suppose it would be, as it is survival, but I will jump into normal play as well at some point, so let's try Mega Regal again. I won't try any of the characters that I'm not that familiar with in survival at this point. I might do a bit of team matching, though, so... So, 2001 is basically just the worst King of Fighters. There's just everything wrong with it. If all else fails against the AI, spam fireballs. But yeah, this can be the degree you have to use against some of the AI in this. Doesn't make good gameplay footage, but it's how you win. Yeah, I mean, 2003 was okay. It still wasn't great. The new storyline. Basically, the only storyline SNK actually finished was the Orchi saga, which followed 94, 95, 96, and culminated in a battle with one of the basically. Crouch kick or flying kicks. I've actually got a playthrough of King of Fighters Neo Wave, and if you see me beating Geese Howard in that one, you basically have to cheat like mad. I mean, Regal in King of Fighters 94 is brutal. Oh yeah, I forget there is that magic. The girl, there was a new girl-based fighting version of all the female characters, which is actually, I think, a follow-up to there was one they did on the Neo Geo Pocket. Oh.
KO. Winner. Continue.
I don't think I've ever done survival mode before. It's definitely tough, right?
Fighter.
So let's pick Regul again and be even cheaper than I was before. But yeah, because there was, on the Neo Geo Pocket, there was the Gal Fighter one, which was all the female characters. And I know there's the new King of Fighters. Actually, the most recentest King of Fighters on PS4 is actually better than the appallingly bad Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V is probably one of the worst games I've ever had the misfortune of playing. It is dreadful, absolutely dreadful as a fighting game. It ranks as just the worst Street Fighter going. Yeah, I know this is cheap, but this battle's getting on my nerves now, so... Oh, come on! Probably just go for the grab super, because that way I can guarantee a hit. But yeah, survival mode's definitely... You don't get much health back at all. It really is like use the cheapest tactics going. But that is King of Fighters for you. But 98's actually... The arcade mode's pretty reasonable, aside from the bosses. So the King of Fighters 94 is an absolute slugfest. And the Regul battle at the end of 94 is deeply, deeply unpleasant. The first King of Fighters I actually owned was 95 on the Sega Saturn, so that was actually the first, one of the first in the series to get a European release as well, so that's how I actually got it. I got it one Christmas, I remember playing it thinking, yeah, this is really good.
Lady, go!
Battle Area, we should play Battle Area to Shinden. I always quite like to Shinden. Yeah, I know they're terrible games. So we do have the PAL version of both of them, and we have the remix. So there's two. There's Ultra Revenge Attack, and then there's the remix of the. Yeah, I should use that stun go. I'm just going to be cheap now because these guys have been getting my nerves a bit for a little while. Oh, were they the last three in survival mode? Was they the final three? Nope. 40.
Lady, go!
So I was just say, normally you keep going through survival mode, but yeah, this survival mode is ruthless. I suppose that's why a lot of people tend to play as. I remember doing survival mode in King of Fighters 2002, where you basically played as Chris because he had a heal mode. Nico, there's actually two Battle Area Toshinden on Sega Saturn. I assume you're talking about Toshinden Remix, not Ultra Revenge Attack URA, which is the follow-up. Toshinden Remix was the first game rebalanced on the Saturn. They also, I don't know if you've played it, there's DX Third, which is another one, and that actually has one of the Toshinden characters in and was actually done by the same developers as well. Yes, Mature and Vice. the rather sexy girls from King of Fighters 96, who were also killed in King of Fighters 96, but keep coming back and are actually an example of characters that have actually come back from the storyline despite being dead. So obviously it's like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have bumped them off. SNK Remix, yeah. We've only got the normal version of Remix. I would actually like to get an NTST version because it's PAL optimized. So, but yeah, I should cover it. I should actually do. I am possibly going to be doing a huge selection of Saturn videos next year, probably even late this year. So, Takara, yeah, Takara. Shouldn't really be trapping myself in the corner. Oh, come on, Regal, you can do better than that. I do love this is their 96 music. Oh, it's a joy to listen to. I do love that saxophone. Bum, bum. That music, the King of Fighters. If you ever listen to it, I actually need to listen to the 98 Dreamcast soundtrack then if it's got some of the 96 songs. King of Fighters 96 is an absolutely wonderful, wonderful soundtrack, especially if you listen to the CD version. Absolutely phenomenal music. Apologies, this is survival mode, so I am cheating a bit doing this, but if you don't get hit. I mean, one of the survival modes I beat by playing as Chris from Team Psycho, because he has in one of them the ability to eat his onion, which heals him, so. And there's me fluffing the specials. Ah, the music's just a joy to listen to. Yeah, survival mode definitely is always tough in King of Fighters. I do like it. I wish Street Fighter would have modes like this more. You often don't get modes like survival. It really annoys me. It really does annoy me when they don't do survival. This is sort of a survival time attack and other modes like that. They need to be in fighting games as standard. The other thing is I didn't get the arcade stick, so I'm playing with the Dreamcast controller, and it's not kind on your thumbs after a while. You can only use the D-pad as well, which is another disadvantage. So sometimes it doesn't. SNK did have an issue where their controls on some of the ports weren't great. You could often get sort of, I like to call duff inputs, where it wouldn't register the moves. Sometimes it doesn't quite register them. It wanted like very clear, precise movements. Appreciate everyone on the stream. Thank you for all hitting that like button as well. Very much appreciated. As always, if you do enjoy randomised gaming, please consider subscribing to the channel. And thank you to everyone who's in comments chatting away. I know you're all subscribed. I have set it to subscriber only for chat, just so it gets rid of a few of the spam messages we've had before. So you only need to be subscribed to a minute if you're watching. And gotcha. Now will that end him? Yes. But it is a great series, King of Fighters. It does, as I said, it does have its ups and downs. I would recommend 96 through to 99, and then 2003 is not bad. I would skip over 2001 and 2002. So the 98 rematch is pretty good. Ultimate Dream Match, which is later. The later SNK one, the later Playmore SNK ones are much better. So the latest one on PS4, which I think is 15, was pretty good. King of Fighters Neo Wave on PS2 is a bit meh. Now, what were the other ones? Is it 12? So there was the really rubbish one on 360, which I can't remember which one it was. Which is basically literally like an unfinished game. Oh, it's got all the good 96 music in it. Yeah, yes. And here we have the lovely Mai Shrubner, who is a constant fan favourite for two quite clear bouncy reasons. Although her character is permanently in love with Andy Bogart, and I think it implies in... I think it actually implied in Mark of the Wolf they were actually together at long last. Despite the fact in the early games he kind of ignores her advances. I think the premise in Fatal Fury 2, she sets her sight on Andy from the moment she sees him or something. So, but there are quite a lot of comical exchanges between Mai and Andy. Ah, you don't get a lot of time in survival. He's quite a defensive character as always. Let's even get through survival mode. I'm guessing Ragul will be at the end. I didn't realise survival... Normally, you normally get an endless option for survival mode, so... This one's obviously got a limit to it, because normally you get like 10, 20, or like endless. Normally it's like 10, 30... normally you have to do... So, a lot of the later SNK games have it that you have to fight through every single character in survival mode in order to... unlock quite a few of them. You will have to do all of survival mode, and then at the end you will get a couple of fights with the bosses or special characters. So quite a few of them. Oh, I picked normal Ragul, didn't I? Okay. If you're wondering why this is normal Ragul, not a Mega Ragul, so he's got his classic moves. Although he's still an absolute... He is still a murderous. And I got the big fireball in this one. Yeah, I do play. I do like to mix up the characters I play as. So. Yeah, so they obviously had fun animating characters like my My thumb's already feeling, as I'm not even an hour into the stream, my thumb is already feeling the roughness of the Dreamcast joypad. Oh, I should have brought the arcade stick. Take it, volumes and everything are okay now. I just realised that probably is a bit bright for you guys, isn't it? Yeah, that's a touch bright. Bear with me a second. I'm tempting fate doing this, but Don't crash again. Don't crash again. This probably doesn't need quite the brightness. One thing I've noticed with the Dreamcast is you do have to adjust per game. You really do. So yeah, you get a normal Regul and a Mega Regul, although the Mega Regul is quite a bit different to the actual Mega Regul seen in King of Fighters 95, where he was shirtless and had a cybernetic hand. I absolutely love that form of Regul because it's so menacing. It's like his apex. This is actually I'm sure this song's actually the... So going to... No, it's the first King of Fighters is King of Fighters 94. However, technically the very first game King of Fighters is the original Fatal Fury, which is called the King of Fighters. Yeah, Mai's a... I'm just going to have to wait till she bows. And then do an airborne one. Yeah, you can get out of jail with that backdash in this. Oh, come on. Don't fail me now, Regul. That's what I sometimes hate. You often get... The thing is, these days they probably can get actresses in, but yeah, I can imagine in Japan it might have been a bit weird. Well, there's been a few stories about some of the King of Dead or Alive developments, so yeah, I don't think it was... No. Ah! Okay, that was me. That was having a moment where I suddenly thought I can do this, and then I... That was... I basically had a moment where my mind just went, and that's the one thing... You do have to watch it in fighting games. You can have bouts where you just get your basically your concentration, you suddenly just... If you can sometimes be right on winning a fight and then you can just lose it on the cusp, so... I didn't press start on normal Regul again, aren't I? Okay, let's just...
Ready, go!
Yeah, you can't... That run... Every time... If I do that run attack against her, she's going to hit me with that. Okay, that run's not too bad. I thought she was going to counter more. Back in the 90s, yeah, video games... I mean, even today, video games are still seen predominantly as a male pastime. Certainly in countries like the UK, it's still... We still have a bit of a society issue. One of the issues people don't really mention is that the UK is a society where it's still... A lot of people still frown upon people playing video games. And it's still... What is his policy? I'm just going to see what normal Regul's super moves are. Okay, two quarter circles. So fireball, kick, and quarter circle, half circle, back, X. Oh, that's the super grab one, isn't it? Yes, got it. Oh, thank you, Mai. Just boast again. Yeah, in the UK it was still, certainly in the 90s, playing video games was not seen as sort of socially acceptable for women, which is still an issue we have, in that it's still seen more as a male orientated thing, developing and making video games, rather than a female, and that's something I think society still needs to look at. But I'll save that type of discussion for another day. Oh, that's a kick one, isn't it? They have to some degree. I still think there's a way to go, though, certainly in this country, and I think it's still seen more as male orientated, but it's being more socially acceptable now. But it's still, I think there's still a hang up, and it's still a way to go. But you definitely see a lot more women gamers than you did in the 90s now, which is good. They are very broad. There's lots of video games. I think because a lot of people don't realise what a culture of games there are. I mean, there's a huge array of video games out there. So it's not just... I think there was an era in the 90s where it was seen everything was just bang, bang, shoot people, when actually that's not what video games... There's lots of video games from... Okay, can I get away with just doing Repukens constantly? Some AIs dodge. Now, you do get guard crush in this, but as you see there, the guard crush is so pathetic that unless you're literally standing right next to them when you do it... Yes, I imagine for you they are very eye candy Nike. Yeah, I do like a balanced mix of fighting games, actually. I find it a bit weird when you get those games that are all female and just... Oh, I do like a good mix of characters from a whole sort of walk of life. A bit like real life, because you meet people from all over. In any sort of profession, you'll meet a whole cast of characters, and I think the video games, certainly these sort of fighter games, do reflect that, where you have just a massive cast from all over the world, which I really like. It's a bit like chatting to you guys on here in the stream. We've got some of you guys are from all over the world as well, which is really nice, which is something that you certainly couldn't have done in the early ages of the internet, but now we've got sort of streaming. You can literally watch me all play video games, which is something I dreamed about being able to do in the 90s. I really liked this technology in the 90s, that I will say. Okay, I'm just going to be cheap and throw fireballs at Heimdall. Ragul is also one of the most buff characters in fighting games as well, especially his 95 edition, where he literally claws his chest with his metal hand as well. But he's such a great villain, Ragul. Ragul was such an awesome character in the King of Fighters series. It's really annoying that they bumped him off so early on in the franchise. The Playmore lot did give him children in one of the later games, but the children characters were a bit naff, so I was like, nah, they aren't. They're just wannabes. But yeah, I should say this is another game that doesn't support VGA on the Dreamcast. Again, it's a 240p game, so... And here we go with Caillou's father. Caillou's father has a bit of a beef against Ragul, seeing as the fact that in the 5th game he brainwashed him to fight his son, so... should just say again, apologies, there is quite... I forgot how much flashing there is in some of these games. The fighters. Oh, got him. I really love all the characters in King of Fighters. They're just so really So in these early games, they're all really good. The later games, I think things started going wrong in 2000 because Cooler wasn't finished, and so her sprite work was really bad in 2000. And then in 2001, had some of the worst characters in the franchise. Should really use the get out of jail claw with the. Listen to that mix. Equal flashing effects, yeah. Yeah, you hear the music reset, which is. Just as we was getting into the sort of all-action, there are some great guitar riffs and jazz solos in this music, like saxophone stuff. It really is phenomenal music. No, this game, as Nyko says, is a 240p game, Mizu. It's not actually, it's why it doesn't support VGA, because it's actually 240p. Or 263p, but that's the PAL name for it, I think, because it's on a PAL Dreamcast. Yeah, the AI blocks a lot of your supers, that I have noticed. Oh! Ralph just won. Yeah, they have dialed back because there are a lot of games that did used to have unnecessary flashing effects, although Destiny 2 is one that still has it, so Destiny 2 is awful. Because I know myself, as you get older, those flashing effects are not good for your eyes. And of course, for people who have photosynthesis or suffer epilepsy, they can trigger seizures and other things. So I'm glad they have dialed it back a lot. A lot of these games shouldn't have these type of over heavy effects. It's not good. They're not needed either. You don't need. I mean, Capcom had a thing. A lot of these games will have single flashes when you impact and white screen things, and you don't need them in games. There's no reason for them. Yeah, in the arcade version, the music's supposed to continue playing into the next round, so you'll get much more of the guitar riff than this one. It is just a phenomenal soundtrack. God, that does loads of chip damage, that move. Admittedly, I am playing. This is a Mega Rigor. He is the boss. He's not actually playable in the Neo Geo Arcade rendition, only in the home rendition. Basically, survival mode, normally it's in the King of Fighters, it's normally play as characters that basically have really long range attacks, are overpowered like Regal is, or have heal attacks. As a couple of characters can heal, and I remember in 2000 I had to play as Chris and use his onion eating thing to get through it. No, I think it was 2002, because the secret characters to unlock, you had to get to them in survival, and they were always at... Yeah, I know what you mean. There are some of them, they actually output ones outside even the overscan areas, so... I think he's just going to run into my fireballs largely, Clark. Unfortunately, in a King of Fighters game, spamming is the key to victory against, especially in something like survival mode. Because the problem is the AI is just so cheap and very defensive.
versus Athena.
You're alright in normal matches. The later ones you're okay. You only want characters you're willing to spam against the bosses. But for a bit of fun, I'll just demonstrate what it's... Oh, I keep messing up the genocide cutter as well. Ah, that got me.
KO. Winner.
Yeah, I think I noticed the Dreamcast actually, the VGA seems to be slightly off by default. Because I noticed with the open source scan converter you have to raise it. Ah, Chris Kensu does have his heel. He's got his onion eat. Ah, should have done the other super. He does have his onion eat in this one.
Continue.
Well, so do survival, that way I can do... I'll see how far I get. I'll probably fit in a go through arcade mode as well as one of the teams. And I'm playing this, I think maybe I'll do a video. I've been meaning to do a Street Fighter 3 long play at some point, so...
The girl versus Athena. Lady, go.
I should actually use his reflect as well more.
KO. Winner. The girl.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well, Nico. It's like 5. I find it slightly depends on games. Some games with 4, some games with 3. But yeah, there are a few pixels too low. I've noticed that as well. So, but what that means is if you don't have the open source scan converter, that means, like the PlayStation 3, the Dreamcast is incorrectly has got the wrong height set up, which is a hardware issue that obviously Sega did, and there's no way to correct it.
KO. Winner.
Because you need something like the open source scan converter to physically correct it, because it's an issue with the hardware itself. Although you might be able to do it with some TV settings, raise it or lower it. There's some, if you go into the really high
Go.
sort of main menus for it.
Broken.
Ah, you... Oh, I can't believe it's going to be continue, isn't it?
Continue.
Oh, your VGA monitor is height adjust. Yeah, not everyone has it.
The king
My
of
TV
fighters.
doesn't, but you can't do it on some of the something like has the newer Elgato drivers, do they allow for it, or because I know I'm running an older version of Elgato, but the Elgatos are off. Like we said, the PlayStation 3 it's off as well, so you need something that actually shifts the picture slightly.
Ready, go!
Admittedly, some games will have that options, but not all of them. And some games, you need ones that actually shift the main area. Some games just shift the preset areas, whereas some games shift the whole area. I've noticed, so. Let's go with a rubbish start. Appreciate all the likes, everyone who's on. Apologies, I'm a bit spammy in the survival mode, but Sai Kensu. Yeah, he's got an onion eat which you can use to heal, which is really quite a... Yeah, see, there he goes. That is a blessing of a move, I can tell you now. I've used that in a couple of King of Fighters games, so literally... Oh, he went through that as well. Oh, I should use Ragul's... I should use the Fireball Deflect. Shingensa. I do love the animation for Shin. The character design is just wonderful. I mean, it's the old classic sort of drunken master. And apologies, this is a bit spammy, but this isn't an SNK game. I think you've got to go through survival mode. I assume it's all the characters in the lineup. Last 9. Ah, is it counting down how many I've got left?
Let's go! Versus Heavy D! Ready, go!
Yeah, the problem is the HDMI signal's still off for the PS3, as I found. Okay, last 8. I've got to fight the bosses, haven't I? Okay, I'll try and mix it up a bit, so it's not just me doing constant fireballs. The HDMI, if you even via HDMI, it is slightly off. It's off and you can't correct it, so because it's actually a hardware issue with the PS3. If they've Sony set it up wrong. Ooh. The only other thing it might be, Nyko, is the firmware. They may have messed it up on one of the firmware updates. There's always that. But I've noticed when I've been capturing via... Admittedly, I have been using the scaler we've got to bypass the thingy, and there's a chance that could be misaligning it. Hello, 8-bit SNK boy. Okay, 6 left, so... Apologies, said I am being slightly spam heavy on the fireballs. Thanks for joining the stream. We're doing survival mode at the minute. Something I normally wouldn't actually do because I don't tend to do survival modes. But if you want one, hello Shinobi. Oh yeah, you're still here, Shinobi. That's great. Yeah, I mean, I would recommend getting a VGA lead. So speed powered splitter. Yeah, I used. So that old scaler, the one that I know you don't like, but it's actually got quite handy, that allows you to strip, acts as a HDMI, HDCP stripper. And I also have a HDCP stripper box, although the HDCP stripper doesn't seem to like the... Oh, we finally got to Shingo. The HDCP stripper I've got has issues where it sometimes will lose sync. So hence why we started going to using the old scaler, which strips it perfectly without issue.
Let's go! Versus Terry!
Hey, come on.
Lady, go!
Power charge!
Okay, this must be Terry from 94. Or King of Fatal Fury 2. Weirdly, HDCP, it's not actually... You see, HDCP, from what I understand, isn't a legal requirement because it's basically an Intel feature. It's basically functionality Intel added. But basically, if you say, basically, Intel will get very angry if you basically mention, yeah, that it takes off HDCP. I mean, arguably now, a lot of people are moving away from HDCP. Because it's basically an Intel standard, and they've done multiple versions of it now, so some of the older stuff doesn't work. So it's... And arguably it's for... It's for law enforcement to deal with people who are copying stuff. Yeah, this is the 94. I mean, the thing is, you're legally entitled to like copy things on the TV, make videos and watch them and things like that. So it's really just a sort of industry thing, HDCP, and it's now being basically sort of pushed aside because of things like streaming. So I think it's a standard that's basically can probably be wiped out because tech's moving away from that type of thing. Oh yeah, you can actually charge the fireball shots as well. So I'm guessing next up should be Ragul. Ragul. That's this normal. Okay, it is a Mega Ragul. This is where things are going to get a bit crazy. Yeah, I know there are certain features, like you said, Netflix and stuff, that do want HDCP, and for them I can understand why they want it. But I think the problem with it is it sort of hindered, because it was sort of badly designed. I think it hindered things like streaming and people who wanted to sort of do things like video capture just to show people, you know, playthroughs. Oh, this is going to be a tough fight. Appreciate all the likes, everyone.
The king of fighters.
Alright, let's see if we can beat this guy. I mean, visually, this is said it's quite a nice one. Some people may prefer the original 2D, but it's quite nice to see a sort of 3D reiterations of no way to disable it. Yeah, the only units that could disable it were test units, which had the option to disable HDCP. Because I remember the fun we had trying to capture on PS3s. Because I did because I had to capture PlayStation Home videos and stuff when I worked for one of the developers that did PlayStation Home content, and it was a bit of a, you could basically, they haven't. Yeah, this is where things get hard, because this is classic SNK boss. I haven't actually used any good dodge moves, have I? He's just won that one.
Continue.
Yeah, so if it was a real hindrance for HDCP, for
The king of fighters. The girl versus the girl.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I've actually beaten this mode before. I must admit. Survive. No, don't do genocide cutter. Do the. Yeah, slightly.
Winner. Continue. The king of fighters.
Yeah, I quite like the 3D take on it. They use this 3D sort of rendition for the Ultimate version, the Ultimate 98 as well.
The girl. Lady, go.
Yeah, I mean, they did do a really nice thing. It's weird they only did this for a couple of the games, so. Alright, too slow with that. Oh, I got him. Come on, you do the fireball. Come on, do the fireball. Yeah, I can charge it as well, so. Genocide cutting me. No, that was a bad move. Doing the dash, I should have done the repel. I mean, Ragul's pretty much got the Omega Ragul version that I'm playing as. Admittedly, I'm being a bit cheap playing as the souped up version of the boss for survival, but it makes it easier. Oh, my poor thumbs. I'm certainly feeling it. The D-pad has already worn down my thumbs.
Ready, go!
Right. Yeah, I think right, if I do the fireball after him, whoever does the fireball launches it gets the priority.
Winner! Continue! The king of
That was so close there a second ago. So close. Should probably get in close and use the dash. Oh, so close. Yeah. I should get in close and use the dash. Probably go for a few more fly kicks. If you time it just right, you can avoid the genocide cutter.
Ready, go!
That was too slow on that one. Oh, got him there. He got me. Oh, bit slow on those. There. Come on, do the fireball.
KO! Winner! Continue! The king of fighters!
Yes, 8-bit SNK boy, I am a veteran of the series, so I'm well aware this is a far easier Regal than the one in King of Fighters 1994. 95 is comparatively easy compared to 94. This is a cakewalk in comparison. The 95 boss fights and the 94 boss fights, and those a couple of the early, so 94 and 95 are absolutely mercilessly hard versions of Regal. And then the other one is the one on the PS2. Was it 12 or 11? That had one of the worst boss fights where the character literally can throw fireballs at you from anywhere on screen and literally teleport them out of nowhere. Is probably the worst.
KO! Winner!
Oh no, I screwed that one. Oh dear, I can't believe I did that.
The king of fighters!
Yeah, I absolutely messed that up there right at the end. Right, I've got him. I've got him this time. Yeah, I absolutely had it and I just lost it. I'm just going to block you guys out for a second on just concentrate purely on the fight.
Ready, go!
Yeah, I'm just going to do the warp makes it pretty easy, so I'm just going to do that actually.
The king of fighters.
Nope, and I picked the wrong version of Regal. Yeah, this survival mode is quite a slog. This is proper old school King of Fighters.
The go.
Well, I suppose because it is survival mode. But yeah, the Regal in this one says not the hardest.
Fight off, wait! Fight off, wait! Fight off!
I'm actually going to be honest, I should have used the dodge rolls and I've not used them once. Are they... I'm trying to remember what they are actually in this one. Yeah, so he just every time... I thought it was... it's the two light punches. Because I remember one... Often you use those attacks to slide through, and I should really be using that more. Because you can use it to get towards them. As I keep moving King of Fighters and I've not been using it, I will do that where I literally like, oh yeah, there are these advanced techniques that I don't use. Like playing a Sekiro Shadows die twice. I decided, no, I'm not going to use any items. I'm just going to win every fight without using any items, which makes everything ruthlessly hard. But by the end, you can then just walk through the game. I do like the fish in the background in this one.
Go. The king of fighters. The girl versus the girl. Lady, go! KO! Winner! Continue! The king of fighters! The girl versus the girl. Lady, go! the girl versus the girl. Lady, go! Time over. Winner. Continue. The King of Fighters.
Okay, I probably should play a bit more defensively, I think. So I've only got two options. I need to, and I've nearly had it. They go for really aggressive, or I'll let you guys chat amongst yourself for a minute while I just concentrate on winning this bout, and then we can have a chat afterwards.
The girl versus the girl. Lady, go! Time over. Winner. Congratulations!
Finally! We did it. Not the best run, but it'll do. Probably should be a bit more aggressive there at the end. And yeah, I think the announcer's actually the girl who does the voice, or the woman who does the voice of Mai. I don't think I unlocked anything for doing this. Appreciate all the likes, everyone. Glad you're liking this look. Another survival. Start plus A. Got there in the end. Yeah, a bit slower than I would have liked. I'm a bit rusty. And whenever I'm chatting away on stream, I'm not concentrating as much as I should do. So what's another survival then? I saw a cheat for that on. Start plus A. Is this another survival?
The King of Fighters.
To see if they spot the difference or not.
Terry versus Terry.
Hey, come on.
Lady, go!
Power away!
Do 38. So start plus A. Just start plus A. How does that change it? Doesn't make it clear. So Let's time Caillou. So this one gives you 38 characters. We just check it's... It didn't save my time though, so maybe if I do the normal one, 38, okay. So that's... Oh, I should just pause it just to listen to the music there. So if I just do the normal one, does that show my Regul time? So this just pressing A, does this show the Regul time? Okay, it does. So there is an alternative survival mode. So what's the difference then? Does this have 38 or does this have slightly less?
The girl versus heavy D. Lady, go!
So both got 38, but it's just... So I don't know what's changed. Maybe you get the classic teams? Okay, let's do a bit of arcade mode, shall we? So a team arcade mode. Oh, my thumbs. Yeah, I'm not going to go through. Oh, the time was unlimited in another... You said to unlimited... Had unlimited time instead of... Ah, I see, so... So yeah, one, it doesn't tell me I've got time on this mode, so... And if I in theory go... So this is the another survival mode, so yeah, it doesn't tell me I've got time on it. And yeah, you're right, yeah, I totally missed that, Nico. The time's totally missing. Okay, but that's enough of survival now, so there's actually 2 modes. What's interesting is I didn't see any of the cheat sites mention that, actually. Ah, my thumbs. Survival is not kind on your thumbs. Yeah, Neo Geo Pocket, team play. So, of course, verse play and single play. So, you get... You cannot wait out around. Yeah. Okay, let's go with probably my favourite team, the SNK team. And let's do King of Fighters properly this time, so... Yeah, there's different characters. Beat your opponents, yeah. Which is actually how I think it should be done from the original. I actually find the time limit quite annoying. Because a couple of times I lost because of it, and a couple of times I won because of it. And I would have won that final match because we had just taken... He was just going... I got the all the right hits in. So it's a bit annoying they have that in the first mode. But it's nice that you've got a nice little unlockable. I have to beat it and see if that unlocks anything. I don't think it... I've definitely done it on both, I think. Although... You know, I didn't play this one that much, that I will admit. Miform.
Lady, go!
It's Andy's one, is it? Yeah. This has a feature for, and I've actually used it on it, King of Fighters Real Bout Round 2, and you can upload and download stuff between the two. Okay, Night Nico, thanks for joining the stream.
Round 3.
So you can transfer, you can't transfer a lot, I think it's like colour data or something, or there's not a huge amount, but it's quite a nice one. Appreciate everyone on stream. I know we've got quite a few watchers. Now this is where I can actually get to grips with the fighting in it. As I pull out the manuals and moves, I'm a bit rusty when it comes to remembering the moves. I could never remember all the moves in King of Fighters. But unlike a lot of players, I like to actually do the whole repertoire of characters. It's nice to be able to pick up and play as all the characters, even if you can't play as them positionally, rather than something worse than watching nothing worse than watching a player who can only ever play as the same character. Because it means you don't have a repertoire, and it means you technically... It's very easy to learn one character, it's much harder to actually learn how to play them all. I would argue, if I had my way, fighting tournaments would have to make you play as a best of sort of X many fights, and you could only pick each character once. So you couldn't play as the same character, because that means you'd then make tactical decisions about when you wanted to use which characters, so your stronger and your weaker ones.
Winner. Round 2. Lady, go!
But it does look beautiful, I will admit. This is RGB SCART, I should say, on the Sega Dreamcast, with hooked up into an open source scan converter. This game does not support VGA because it's actually running at 240p. Basically, any of the arcade games that run at 240p don't.
Round 3. Lady, go!
King of Fighters AI is never challenging, it's just learning how to be cheap against it to win. Because the series is always known for its cheap AI, certainly the bosses. Once you know how to beat them, they can actually use some really just repetitive tactics. But they did get better. 96 is when they got much better. 97 is very good, you don't need to use. 98, this one's not too bad. 99 was very good. I think 98 is probably... I know this one's a fan favourite, that I will say, but I actually preferred 99 over 98. And 2000 was a good outing, but because it was 2000 was the first one, it was only partly worked on by SNK, and that had a lot of problems. But it wasn't bad. 2001 was awful. 2002 was alright. 2003 was probably the best of the first decent Playmore one. Then you had Neo Wave, which was... well, I actually managed to get a dizzy.
Winner. Round 2.
SNK were a bit weird. Initially, they always went for ruthlessly hard AI, but as they went on, they realised that just turned people off. And I think that was the problem. A lot of their games although I know they weren't that popular certainly in the UK, you didn't see the Neo Geo stuff around that much. I mean, you did see them, but not to the extent of certain other regions. And I definitely think you could see as the Neo Geo was starting to suffer, so... Gotcha. I mean, it was a great piece of hardware that lasted for a long time, but you could see SNK falling behind as they went on. I think the SNK needed to move away from their own hardware, or certainly they needed a better version. There should have probably been a Neo Geo 2. I know they did the Hyperboard, but the 3D board I think came too late. I've actually got every King of Fighter games, so... And I've got a lot of the renditions of them, but... This is definitely one of the better ones, 98. Ultimate Dream Match, the later PS2 release of this is... definitely probably the better version, because they added in a number of characters that were missing in this one. Gotcha. Yeah, this is much easier in survival mode. And yeah, it's nice. I'm playing the Japanese version and there's an English option. So how's that? I'm the Satan of martial arts. Oh dear. SNK and their English. Here comes a new challenge. Is this Shingo? Why is Joe unhappy all the time? I can't remember how the system works, where they're sometimes happy, sometimes sad. Yeah, I mean, the newest King of Fighters... Yeah, Ultimate is all the missing characters. The 98 Ultimate they added in back in. That was a much later sort of SNK. That was a SNK/Playmore release, but that's actually a very good one. They also did an updated version of 2002, which was much better as well. No, Joe, don't. Oh, that looked like a bit of a bug. Getting with a tiger knee there. Oh, my thumb isn't thanking me. This will definitely be an early to finish stream. Yeah, it is a very solid game. I definitely recommend... basically, this is 1998, but it was called 99 Dream Match. King of Fighters 99 was called 99 Evolution. Both got Japanese and both got North American releases. Sadly, we never got any of them in the UK, in Europe, which was a big shame. I remember being quite annoyed about that. I think that was one of the reasons SNK... Oh, he's got me. That's a bad move. Yeah, my local arcade did have a Neo Geo machine, but they never got any of the later games on it. So literally, they had it was like one they got early on. So they had Magic Lords. I think one of the baseball games, the futuristic one. Strangely, the first time I actually think I saw King of Fighters was actually in Spain, because I know Spain had a lot of... You've got a lot of Neo Geo cabs in Spain. Oh, come on, that should have been a fireball. Fluff this one.
come on, come on.
Lady, go!
Oh, made a bit of a hash of this. Got him.
KO! Winner!
Okay.
Round 4! Lady, go!
Yeah, one of the downsides of using the pad is sometimes you get the wrong moves out.
KO! Winner!
Okay.
Round 5!
かかってこい
Lady, go!
Yeah. Nope, too far away. I must admit, I've forgotten how painful it is to play on the Dreamcast joypad. I've not really. This is probably the King of Fighters I've ironically played the least on Dreamcast. So this is partly one I'm actually giving. I needed to put some more time into it anyway. So if it suddenly crashes or goes horribly wrong, that probably means a disc got full and I've never realised it. And I have had that happen on a few games.
Continue!
No, I don't want a bonus.
The King of Fighters!
So wait me a second. Guys, I'm going to say it's nice that you're chatting in Japanese, but I am going to have to Google Translate in case you're saying anything rude to one another. I appreciate it might be cool, but my Japanese is limited, although I do understand a few words. I'm actually self-taught, but not. I can read it. I can't remember how you. No, I didn't want to. Oh, I picked the wrong. No. Okay, is there a back button? No. Okay, I'm gonna have to. I meant to pick the. I'm gonna. Okay, I'll just fluff these fights.
Round 1!
Yeah, he's just like, hey, come on, come on. Yeah, a couple of them I always wondered what they were saying.
Go!
Some of them I think they are actually like insulting one another in Japanese, I think. I think Akira. Yeah, I'm just gonna, seeing as I picked the wrong team, I'm just gonna reset.
KO! Perfect! Winner! Round 2! 頑張ります! Lady, go!
Yeah, I'm just gonna let myself like swap characters. Yeah, it's been ages since I think there's still a local arcade. Well, there's a few arcades. The arcade that used to be round here, I think, closed.
Perfect! Winner! Round 3!
I do wish there were more arcades, but the arcade industry, I guess...
Go!
The thing is, this decline, I would argue they could have done interesting things with it now, certainly with modern technology. And it was always weird how they didn't keep pushing the tech forward for the arcades, because these days you could do arcades that were really... Yeah, I know, but I still got to double check it just to be on the safe. So I can see you just having a friendly chat about living in Japan and stuff, which is cool, but I do have to double check stuff.
Continue!
Well, there are a few RPGs I could have done with you on, with a bit of help with Shinobi 1, because a couple times I've got stuck on them when I'm playing them, but generally if you play around a few Japanese bits and do Google Translate these days, you can get... No, I don't want to pick them. I want to be Terry, Andy and Joe. Right. After the last... Choi is always a bit of a weird character, and his AI is a bit funny as well. Sometimes you can get him, he can be really tricky. Other times he can be very hard.
Round one!
It depends what game he is. 95 is probably one of the trickier King of Fighters, but 94 is definitely the hardest. We've got playthroughs of a few of them on the channel. I can't remember which ones I've done Neo Wave. I haven't done 95. I should probably do 95. So Chang is always a bit of a punching bag, I have to admit. He tends to be the weakest in all in this team.
Round two!
You've got Kim, and later on you have the other guy with the white hair and the kicks. He's actually pretty awesome. Kim Kapawan. So that was a bit unexpected. Got him.
KO! Winner!
I must admit, I'd love to have seen King of Fighters 95. I think the first time...
Lady!
So, 95 was definitely the first one I remember seeing, but I didn't see it till like after Alpha came out. It was quite late when I actually saw a copy. I think that was one I saw in Spain, and it was like, okay, this is cool, but it was a few years old at the time. I mean, I never saw a Guru Mark of the Wolf machine in the wild, I will admit. And I know that is a phenomenal SNK game.
KO! Winner!
Yeah, same round here, 8-bit. Most of them have gone to the horrendous slot machines.
Lady! Go!
I think Yarmouth still has quite a lot. Just the nearest seaside resort to me. Got him. But even now, most of the games you see in the arcades aren't generally that good. Yeah, I remember going to Skegness on holiday one year and just being blown away by all the arcades they had. and like because they had like the proper sit-down cab. So we had like Galaxian 3 in the 6-player one, and the sit-down cab, the sit-down car version of Ridge Racer, which was absolutely just stunning. I'm talking there was one with a proper full-on Ridge Racer car. It was massive. It had a huge car to sit in. That was just... there weren't many in the UK, I know that one. It's not... It was an actual, basically a physical size car. Okay, this is a dreadful one so far. Oh, and he's countered me as well. I think the thing was back then the arcade was so much more powerful than the home consoles.
Round 2. Lady, go!
Oh, that's a dreadful run. Oh.
Winner!
あんたじゃ燃えねえな。
Round 3.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, King of Fighters 95 was the first one I actually owned, thanks to the fact that it got a European Saturn release. But yeah, the good old days of arcade. I must admit, I would love to go to Japan myself, but I've never actually been, so that's definitely something I'd like to do at some point.
Lady, go!
Yeah, there was something. The thing is, this you definitely lost something when the home conversions. Gotcha. Come on, let's get him. Got him, right. Yeah, I mean, you could... The reason you went to arcades was originally you play much better games, just better looking. And I just remember... But yeah, I think once the 32-bit era, they started getting arcade perfect games. That's... Oh no, I've messed that. Oh, you used to live in Japan, Shinobi-wan. Nice. Yeah, I could see you were saying you lived there, so because Google Translate's pretty reliable these days, so. Yeah, I think these days I understand there's not so much in Japan. There's still quite a big scene. Oh, have you never actually been to the UK? Ah. Whereabouts are you in the world then, Shinobi-wan, at present? I take it you're not in Japan now. Yeah, should have got that one. Right, let's see if I can get them this time, although my thumb is not thanking me. Thank you, Mizu. You're always welcome to come watch the streams. I'm glad you're all enjoying King of Fighters 90. I keep calling it 90. I keep calling it 98 because it is 1998. I'm not sure quite why they renamed it. I have my suspicion. I suspect someone at SNK or Sega didn't want it being called I from the US. Now, I have actually been to the United States of America many years back. I went to New York and Florida and did Disney World. Actually, it worked. Nice. Oh, that's another dreadful run. Yeah, I spent a weekend in New York City and I went to Florida for 2 weeks many years ago now. I would love to go back to the US. There's quite a lot of parts of the US I've never been to. Well, most of the US I've only been to 2 places. Florida, Orlando, basically for all the theme parks, and there's supers again. I should probably do the kick one.
Round 3.
Hey, come on, come on.
Lady, go!
Because this is King of... It's just weird. But yeah, I suspect the reason it was called 98... was they didn't want to call it 98 when it released, which is a bit silly, but that's my suspicion why it was called 99, because they didn't want to call it 98 because it was released in 99 and the Dreamcast. It was probably... I wouldn't even be surprised if someone at Sega said, no, we don't want being called King of Fighters. Possibly because 99 would have been well out when this released, so to call it 98, people would be going, well, why are you releasing King of Fighters 98 when 99 is out? 99 only came out like a few months later, I saw in Japan. Ah, Goru Damon. Oh, he's got his counters in. Okay, that AI is proving quite tricky.
Continue. The King of Fighters.
I must admit, the time to collect Neo Geo games is probably gone now because they're so expensive these days. Although that said, there's so many repos, so I must admit, my thing has always been I'd love to get a Neo Geo, but because they're on so many other formats,
Lady,
I'm of the mindset. That's okay, Mizu. Thanks for stopping by as always. I do have a couple of projects that I need to actually get done over the next few weeks, so I may take a break. I probably will end up taking a break from streaming. Ah. There are times where you slightly mess up a fight and think, yeah, I wish there was a restart button. Yeah, I went to the US in the late 90s, so...
Lady, go!
Or sort of mid to late 90s. Oh dear. Yeah, there's definitely grabbing from recovery. Yeah, this horrible pan on the Dreamcast. Absolutely horrible. I'm probably going to wrap this up in a few minutes, regardless of whether I finish this or not.
Ready, go!
'Got him. Okay, that's good. Right, that gives me a chance to really go for Gory Damien now. Now, this is a bit risky.
Ready, go!
Okay, I've given me taken about a quarter of his health bar off.
Round 5.
Hey, come on, come on.
Ready, go!
Power wave! Power wave! Power wave!
Throws are gonna. Oh, come on, that was a light punch.
Power wave! Power wave! Power geyser! Power geyser!
Gotcha. Now, people are mature and Vice normally aren't that hard. Normally, Aurori is probably the hardest one. Yeah, I must be. I'd love to have got a Neo Geo with Metal Slug. It was down to the foot. Yeah, that was very much. But alas, it's probably. If I'd have picked it up a few. I know when I should have got it, and I think I probably should have done, but never mind. I think I just love the original Metal Slug, but these days there's so many ports of it, so. I'm happy with enough of the ports I've got. I do love this music. This is from King of Fighters 96. Appreciate all the likes on stream. As always, if you're enjoying this randomised gaming stream, please do consider hitting that like button. It does help with the rankings of these videos, although I have noticed streams don't perform that well after release, so that is an issue we are currently got, and YouTube doesn't factor streams in very well, so we're having a discussion as to whether to try Twitch, because that way it won't affect the YouTube rankings, which currently streams do. So I mean, we did do Twitch originally, but Twitch was just did not work trying to stream on it. But we'll have to think about it.
Ready, go!
Should use the rolls more as well. But I'm not. So yeah, if you're like that. Oh, just out.
KO. Winner.
I do like the dog in the background rustling in the bin, and the train's coming in. This is a really nice stage.
Round 4. Ready, go.
Got him. I was going to say, I'd be disappointed if I didn't get a perfect there at that fight.
Winner.
Ooh, It's practice every day, pal. Okay, so I think this will be Ragul. Right, I'm going to have to remember to use the roll now. I do like these stage intros as well. They are really nice. Yes, this is Ghoul returning. Although admittedly this is a dream match, so it's technically non-canon. That's what they mean by dream match. It's like a dream match with the characters that have been bumped off in the storyline. As I mentioned, officially, Ragul dies in King of Fighters 95. Although arguably, as he crops up in Capcom vs SNK 2, you could argue he's actually wasn't killed in it.
Round 1. Ready, go.
Oh, this is going to be... Oh, you got to get that dodge just right. Oh, got to dodge well.
KO. Winner.
No, it's weird. It's basically King of Fighters 98, but they called it 99 for some slightly odd reason. They never quite explained why, but I think it was probably... I'm gonna, as I said, I suspect it was probably something like I said, they didn't want to call it 98. Because there's the real 99, the actual successor got released as well, but that was called 99 Evolution on the Dreamcast, because they couldn't just call it King of Fighters 99, and that was a dreadful run with Andy.
Round 3.
Hey, come on, come on.
Ready, go.
Power away! Power away! Power away! Power away! Power away!
Okay, so Joe's dodge isn't actually that good. Andy's does.
Power away! Power away! Power away!
Oh, it goes through the goal.
Power away! Power against that! Power against! Rising back!
Oh, Andy, why did you pull that off? Because the controls. Oh. Yeah, there are a few times with the Dreamcast pad you get daft inputs where it inadvertently pulls off no controls it shouldn't do, like there. It's something you'll definitely notice on some joypads, and in fact some games have it as well. SNK were quite bad for it. They got rid of it, but in the early was always the anchor in the moves, yeah. For some reason, Terry's always really good at a lot of the bosses. In all the King of Fighters. Right, let's have a quickly... I should probably try and get a much cleaner run. It's been yonks since I've done this Ragul, so... But seeing as I've beaten him the once in the survival mode, Yeah, that was so close. I think Terry's fireball is the key to victory.
Lady, go!
Power away!
Oh, I've got to wash that.
Power away! Power away! Power away!
No, don't do that.
Power away!
Don't do that, Terry.
Power away! Power away!
KO! Winner!
Ah, lost that one.
Round 2! Lady, go!
Okay, how does Andy... Come on, do the fireball, Regal. Do the fireball. Ah, yep, you can do him like... Okay, so that's one way you can exploit. You can go through the roll and then do the fight. You can, as Andy, it looks like you can do the roll and then go while he's doing the fireball and then do the his uppercut. That's named suddenly just this tornado spin.
Lady, go!
But, ah, can I get... So Joe's I have to do really late. Okay, so I can't block it. Oh, he's got a high jump, so yeah, he can jump it quite easily. And I can exploit that super for the chip damage, so... Oh, I just wish my thumb wasn't telling me it's had enough of the Dreamcast joypad.
Continue!
Yeah, I'm going to refuse to use a bonus because I think we've got him.
The King of Fighters!
As you mentioned earlier, it's not, with the SNK case, it's not about beating the bosses, it's learning how to beat the AI. Because how you fight the AI is very different how you play in matches. I should have used the arcade stick, but... Appreciate all the likes, and as always, please do hit that like button if you're enjoying the stream. Appreciate everyone on it as well.
Go!
Power away!
Oh,
Power away! Rising
no, don't do that move.
power away!
There's definitely a duff input on the pad. Okay, that was unexpected, but quite helpful.
Power away! Power away! Power game now!
Okay, so you've got to dodge at the last minute. Oh, oh, I didn't realise that. Oh, that's an easy way to... He can do that. Oh, nasty.
Lady, go!
Oh, come on. Oh.
KO! Winner!
That's the other thing. There's something about the SNK. Sometimes you'll figure out strategy, and then when you try it in practice, things don't quite work as well as you expect.
サクサクいくぜ
Lady, go!
Okay, that's... Yeah, 2 hours 30. I'm not going to play for too much longer. I'll see if I can get him. I'm not going to cheat. If I cheat, it'll be 30 seconds.
The King of Fighters!
The one I did used to cheat at was the one from, like I said, King of Fighters. There's one of them. There's like some weird... He looks like a weird version of Necro from... Yeah, that's the problem. It's very much about exploiting the AI, the King of Fighters games. Yeah. Well, it's not... The Dreamcast controller basically wears down your thumbs after a while. Because you press... Because it's got a slow... It's not as good as the Saturn one.
Power away! Power away! Power away! Power away!
What is his rising tackle? Every time I do it, I'm just pulling it off randomly. Oh, it is Dragon Punch. It is a Dragon Punch. That would explain why I keep mistiming it. Because there is one thing about the SNK games. The SNK were the only people that changed a lot of how some of the moves were pulled off. Capcom generally left them as they were, but SNK did change them because in the earlier games some of the moves were quite hideous to pull off. Yeah, they got better at it. The later games, they stuck to the same controls and they made them easier. The 94 has some really, really over-convoluted controls. I was trying to get close to pull that special off. Shouldn't have tried that. That was a dreadful attempt. Right, let's see what I can do here.
Lady, go!
No. Oh, Hori controllers. Oh, there's 6-button Hori. Yeah. Yeah, literally. I mean, it's only minor, but it's just you're starting to feel the wear on my thumbs. I now have the imprint on the pad on my thumbs after. Yeah, I should get the arcade stick, but they're a Hori pad. Oh no, I didn't want. Oh, shove it.
The King of Fighters!
Hori Dreamcast. They're pads. Oh, I see there's an ASCII pad. Oh, the ASCII pad looks quite nice. Yeah, I definitely need to get a. I've got Dreamcast Saturn on it. Retrofit. Well, there was a Dreamcast Saturn controller. Vibration. Okay, I'll definitely have to look at getting a something other than. Yeah, fighting games. I definitely need a better pad. There's one that looks like it's a Dreamcast Saturn pad. Okay, I'll keep an eye out for them.
Round 1. Lady, go!
Oh, come on.
Rising Saturn! Power away! Power away! Power away! Power away! Power
KO!
Okay, that was dreadful. I was trying to get his rising tackle out there and I sort of fluffed it.
Round 2.
Oh, do I just go for it, seeing as I've got given him his third of his health, even though.
Go!
Or is he going to hand me my ass even with. Yep, he's probably going to beat. This is dreadful, this run. This is awful.
KO! Winner! Round 3.
They might be the ones I saw. Did they look like a satin pad? This is dreadful. This is awful. This
Go!
Oh god, that was woeful. That was abysmal.
Winner!
Oh, I might just take a perk there because I just feel like my head's just gone because I'm getting a bit tired. So that was dreadful, that performance. Right, just screw it. Give me whatever you want.
The King of Fighters!
Yeah, if they're the ones I just saw, there's some ones like a Sega Saturn pad. They would be quite nice, actually.
Round 1. Lady, go!
Power away! Power Power away! 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 Power Power away! 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 Power Gazer! Power Gazer! Power Gazer! Power away! Power away!
Yeah, that was exploiting an AI. So I realised just as I started that fight that if you stay back a bit with Terry and use the power wave, Ragul will try and kick you, but be out of the range of his kick. But you can still hit him with the power wave. Terry Bogart! So yeah, that's his niche. You can exploit the power wave. And he had full health that time as well. It was Terry Bogart. So yeah, it's a case of working out, and basically because you're out of range of the, you can't. He wasn't going to do anything else. But yeah, often you are relying on their AI doing things like that. Yeah, no, I was just seeing those Dreamcast hardware. Those Dreamcast pads, they got anything? Yeah, there's the ASCII pads I was seeing. They look really nice with the just idiot Japanese sellers currently wanting 70 quid for them. No, I'm not going to pay 73 quid for them. Okay, that was a nice run through. I think now is the perfect time to finish the stream as well with that. A nice little clip from the...
Game over.
Yeah, I was going to say, they must have redid the ending. It looked like it was a new ending. I don't think there's much to actually unlock in this one, because I think this was quite a... Let's check if I've got any... So normal, arranged, hardest, expert, beginner to normal, playtime, stage select on, battle config. So I do team play again. Is that going to throw me back at continue on the final stage? I'm just going to see if that trick against with Terry works again that I did. So if you throw the Buster Wolf out, no, picked them in the wrong order, didn't I? Did I pick Terry first? Oh, no, I think I did. Yep, skip. We don't need to see the intro of the ship again. I might do a proper playthrough as well, as I know it's been a while since I've done a fighting game properly on the channel.
Lady, go!
Power wave!
No, don't.
Rising Saturn! Power wave! 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 Power wave!
Okay, so that's called learning tactics. I will relive the end. Yes, thanks to everyone who's been on the stream. Thank you again to. So I'll say thank you to 8bit and K-Boy. Thank you to Shinobi Wan for being on stream. Thank you to Mizu no Seki TV. Thank you to Naiku for being on stream. Thank you for Terry for being on stream. I don't know if Terry's still on stream, but I hope you enjoyed the look. Who else did we have? We had Lucas Raphael, thank you for being on stream, and Hassan Terrell. Was there anyone else? Naiko, Shinobi Wan. Shinobi Wan, you've been here for basically the whole stream, so thank you. Mizu. And deep in friendship and maintain the world peace. Oh, apologies, I don't think I shouted you out when you came on. Yes, Terry is like Terry. That's what I mean about knowing when you get good. You can know rapidly how to beat an enemy. So. We won't. Just hope he doesn't like video games and ends up watching one of our streams one day going, oh. Because you heard those like stories of people, you know, their boss have been watching like the football game and then see their employee is supposed to be at work at the game and things. Or maybe to see someone they know on stream like, hey, I recognise that guy on my stream. So yes, the answer is Terry. So that's basically I just did a one match victory. So I thought, well, I'll just try that tactic again. So it's basically just at the right height. His attacks will all miss, and you can just power wave, power wave, power wave. That's a new one on my trick book. That says King of Fighters 98 in the background, that banner. Hang on, I think they were slightly different pictures, some of them. They were, weren't they? We had some different pictures there. You need to get a random selection of pictures by the looks of it.
Game over.
I think they were in a slightly different order. Maybe that's because it registers as a 1 credit clear or something. That's interesting. Not in a lot of the later ones, there's actually... You're so fed up. Yep, I brought him back and I beat him straight off the bat. So, I don't think there's a gallery in this one. I know this one does have a link feature. So there, you can link it up, and we do actually have the version. I have linked it up. This one doesn't let you can upload and download points between the two of them. It doesn't. You do need a Neo Geo Pocket, and you need the Neo Geo Pocket link cable these days, which is quite tricky to come by. But VMU's just giving me a bleep. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching again. that's it from me. As always, if you enjoyed this stream, please do consider hitting that like button. This was King of Fighters 99 Dream Match, or King of Fighters Dream Match 99. It is actually King of Fighters 98 the Slugfest, or King of Fighters 98 the Dream Match, as it was originally known. But yeah, this one got a rename and additional 3D backgrounds. But yeah, it is a... If you enjoy King of Fighters, it's definitely one of the better ones. It's probably one of the best too. It's a toss-up for me between 19... So basically 98 and 99 on Dreamcast are by far the best two. Both those ones have the enhanced visuals with the 3D stages, and 99 has a truckload of extra characters. 2000 did some nice content, and after that things kind of lost their way a bit. 2001's okay at best. I mean, it's not a terrible fighting game, but by the standards of King of Fighters, it's absolutely dire. It's certainly one of SNK's weaker games, and 2002's all right. But there are 2002. They actually updated it with every iteration, so the Xbox and PS2 version actually has more content and a couple of more characters. But thank you all for watching, everyone. Thank you in your Japanese. I'm just going to Google Translate that. But yeah, appreciate it all. Is it Hayogizaimu or Ginhon? No, Kinishiwa's hello, isn't it? Look, thank you all for being on stream. And yeah, if you enjoy our content, please do consider subscribing. I'm not looking at Patreon, but we may be looking for support on one of the other services, like Buy Me a Coffee or something. Good night. Yes, good night. Okay, that's it from us. And I'll see you all. I'll probably be back Thursday, hopefully with a VGA cable. But night for now. Apologies for the slight issue at the start of the stream. That was OBS failing miserably, but all good at the end. Night. Thanks again, Shinobi Wan 1, and see you all very soon in the next stream.